Hi, my name's Paul Feiner, and some of you may know me as a Greenburgh Town Supervisor. In 1973, 47 years ago, I was just like you. I was a student at Scarsdale High School and was so excited to run for my first office, Scarsdale High School Student Council President. I had lots of ideas. I wanted to put benches outside for students to eat, something they did not have. I wanted an all-weather track. I had my first lesson in politics, losing. Even though I lost, I never gave up on the platform and ideas I believed in. At least 2 of the platform ideas I pushed were implemented. Today, there's an all-weather track at Scarsdale High School, and there's also outside seating in front of the school. And even though I lost my first election, I learned lessons about campaigning, running for office, and it helped me get elected to the County Board of Legislators. I was elected as a Westchester legislator 4 times, and I was elected and re-elected as Greenburgh Town Supervisor. We're the largest town in Westchester for over 29 years. It's my hope that each of you will speak out on issues that concern all of you. Do the right thing. Work hard, and don't be afraid to speak out. Don't be afraid to accomplish things which are difficult, and don't feel you should only push for goals which you are sure you can easily attain. Another message I'd like to make in my TED Talk is failure. To succeed, you need to learn how to fail. My experience running for Student Council President helped me win other offices later in my life. What turned out to be a big disappointment in high school led to a very rewarding career. After law school, I will never forget the disappointment I had applying for a job with a very prestigious New York City law firm. I had a fantastic first interview, and I was called back for a second interview. I was ecstatic. I was sure I'd get the job. I got a 3rd interview. And what happened? I never heard back. I was so disappointed. I waited behind my phone. I called them. They didn't talk to me. I walked into their offices. They saw me, and they ran the other way. I sent them a stamped, self-addressed envelope asking them to check off yes or no. Did I get the job? No. But my experiences being treated with so little respect and feeling so low and disgusted after the job interview helped me become more empathetic. And as town supervisor, I have helped hundreds of people find jobs. When somebody is out of work and they come to me, I want to help them. Failure is an important part of learning and growing. Don't be embarrassed to fail. Learn from each failure. Did you know Abraham Lincoln, whose statue is behind me, lost 8 elections? He failed in business and he had a nervous breakdown. He could have quit many times, but he never did. Joseph Biden, who recently became the Democratic nominee for president, tried to become president for 30 years. He also never quit. Ronald Reagan lost presidential races. Barack Obama lost a congressional race. A perfect example of losing is Thomas Edison. Thomas Edison tried over 10,000 times to invent a commercially viable electric light bulb. He never gave up. And Walt Disney was fired for not having imagination. Even geniuses get rejected. Who would reject Albert Einstein? Somebody did. Albert Einstein sent many applications for jobs in his early 20s after graduating college. It took 2 years and many applications for Einstein to get his job. In 1907, Einstein received a rejection letter for the position of associate professor at the University of Bern. Failure is a step to take before you succeed. Think of Jonas Salk, who experienced 4 years before the vaccine was discovered to eradicate polio. Think of all the failures in finding a vaccine for COVID. I always tell people when they're looking for a job and they're frustrated, they've been waiting and waiting and waiting, keep getting rejected, said, try getting 100 rejections, because every rejection you get will make it one step closer to getting the job. Another message I have is to work hard. Be persistent. Don't give up. When I was 16, I headed up a group called the Task Force for Bikeways. We wanted Westchester to build the first bikeway in Westchester County on the Bronx River Parkway. The county executive wasn't really that interested. The Board of Legislators was not interested, but I organized a committee. I called legislators at home. I wrote letters to the editors. I met with editorial page editors and persuaded them to write editorials. I attended every meeting of the County Board of Legislators. In short, I was a pain in the neck, a gadfly, an annoyance, an irritant. One day, the minority leader of the Westchester County Board of Legislators called me up, sat me down, and offered me a deal. He and the legislature would approve the first bikeway to be built in Westchester on the Bronx River Parkway if I would agree not to show up at any meeting of the Board of Legislators for 6 months. I made my deal, and we accomplished what we set out to. We got the Bronx River Parkway first bikeway built, which is still in place. And since the early 1970s, more and more bike paths have been built in Westchester and the entire region. We recently have seen the South County Trail become a bikeway, the North County Trail all the way from the Bronx to Putnam County, and most recently a bike path was built on the Mario Cuomo Bridge. Another message I have is please speak out. In recent years, I've had the privilege of working with many students from area high schools. A 6th grader in Edgemont is organizing an effort to persuade the town to build a sidewalk in Edgemont. She has spoken out at town board meetings, been interviewed by TV stations that cover the metropolitan area. Other students are promoting composting. During the snowstorms, students have headed up a Snow Angels program in town. They're offering to clear driveways of snow for senior citizens and people with disabilities. During the recent COVID-19 pandemic, other students have volunteered their time delivering food for the elderly. This past summer, we created a student summer internship program, and we had over 40 students, some from Scarsdale High School, who produced public service announcements about wearing masks during COVID, or coming up with safety tips so we could avoid pedestrian or motorist accidents. Greenburgh experienced some fatalities in the past year. Another message I have, which is easier said than done, is do not be jealous. However, hard work remains a critical factor in accomplishing your goals in life. Regardless of how tired you are of hearing it, some people find accomplishing educational goals very, very easy. You don't have to study, but you get straight A's. But other people always struggle. Some people are instantly popular in school. They're part of the A crowd. They effortlessly navigate the social scene at school, and other people find it very, very difficult and anxiety-provoking. Some individuals have access to great resources, others do not. We are extremely different. None of us are better or worse than anybody else. However, the indicator of whom you become and what you accomplish, it often relates to how much you want it. If you want something bad enough, you can find a way to get there. Maybe the road's going to be steeper or a more difficult climb, but if you work hard, you'll be successful, and if you don't work hard, you won't be successful. Sometimes the person who might have been laughed at high school becomes more successful than somebody who had it all in high school. Do not be afraid to do what is right, even if it's not popular. When I was a little older than you, in 1977, I organized an effort to persuade the Scarsdale Town Club to admit women as members. Scarsdale had a nonpartisan system. Candidates ran unopposed for mayor and trustee. Traditionally, the nonpartisan system selected as the mayor of Scarsdale somebody who previously was president of the Scarsdale Town Club. But the town club excluded women. So to be mayor, you had to be a man. And I don't think that was fair. We had an equal rights. People are pushing for an equal rights amendment, and Scarsdale certainly did not practice that. Scarsdale Town Club members loved the tradition that they had. For years, they claimed that having women as members of the town club would be a big distraction and make it difficult for them to do the work of overseeing town government. Again, this is 1977, not 1877. Some have tried unsuccessfully for years to persuade the town club that women should have a voice in Scarsdale government. And nothing ever happened, so I decided to get involved. I organized a group called People for a Whole Town Club. I went door to door. I collected over 1,000 signatures of people who were active in the community who supported women's rights. I got nowhere. Then I came up with an idea. I wrote to the New York State Board of Education, and I questioned whether the school district could exclude women from attending meetings in a public building. They said women could not be excluded. Women could then attend meetings and distract men, but they were only observers for a period of time. So I called the National Organization of Women. We picketed the town club before every meeting. As people were entering the meeting, they were greeted by picketers. We called the national and local TV stations, and a vote was scheduled. And the town club said they were going to vote to admit women as members. But what happened was many of the leaders of the town club were prominent leaders in the New York City area. They were influenced by peer pressure at the local level and had supported a discriminatory policy. They were actually proud of it. But when they faced TV cameras taping their vote, they did not want to embarrass themselves professionally, and they chose to do the right thing. So women were admitted as members of the town club, and we've had some women mayors of Scarsdale since that time. Right after I graduated law school, I worked on another issue. One day, I realized that the trains were not operating efficiently. The trains were packed like sardines, the windows didn't open, it was 100 degrees inside, trains got stuck at Grand Central Tunnel for over an hour, and I decided to do something about it. So I asked residents if they wanted to start a bus service from Scarsdale and Hartsdale to New York City. I called a bus company, I asked if we could rent a few buses. I thought it would be simple, but it wasn't. I went to the Hartsdale train station in the town of Greenburgh and started handing out questionnaires. Within an hour, the Greenburgh police approached me because somebody complained and told me that if I did not leave, they would arrest me. I was a recent graduate of St. John's Law School and did not want to be disbarred before I even started my career, so I left. But I contacted the Associated Press, and the controversy received front-page news coverage. Metro North backed down. I continued my questionnaire, rented 3 buses, and the commuters loved the service, until the county of Westchester, New York City, and the village of Scarsdale fought back. My bus service was kicked off Central Avenue, New York City kicked us off 5th Avenue and Madison Avenue, and Scarsdale kicked us off Fenimore Road. And my service was all volunteer. I did not get paid. The county started an express bus service to New York City that was subsidized, bigger and better than mine. The lesson, although my service was finally terminated, it promoted the county to start its own service, which turned out to be better than the one I could have done alone. I dared to improve service, showed it was possible. I embarrassed the powers to be. They addressed the important safety issue, and residents of Westchester now have bus service. Another message is do the right thing. The right thing is very subjective. What's right for me may be wrong for somebody else. And always be open to reconsider your values and understand that they will change as your experience grows. Don't be rigid. Many of our national leaders have changed their views on civil rights, abortion, climate change, gay rights, and other issues. Your views may also one day change on social issues. There is nothing more important in your life than personal integrity and living with your actions and values and feeling good about the choices you make. Keep in mind, while being secure in your beliefs, others within your world will be struggling through the same process and will develop opinions in direct opposition to yours. The ability to listen openly to other opinions, even when they strongly fly in the face of your own, is an important part of having integrity. One of the most important lessons you can learn is respect for differences. The concept of success is also subjective. For some, great wealth and power equals success. For others, being a good parent and partner equals success. For others, making the world a better place means success. Establishing for yourself what success is might and will determine your level of fulfillment. Going forward, be courageous, press your limits, and don't fear failure. Work hard with the understanding that although others might find the road to success easier or might begin with greater access and resources, succeeding on your own, using your own will and hard work is most gratifying. Do the right thing. Do not ever compromise your sense of right and wrong, but remain open to change and new ideas, and have a healthy respect for differences, as there is something to learn from everyone. A number of years ago, I met John Glenn, the astronaut who was the first American to orbit the Earth in 1962. Mr. Glenn, who was then a senator, told me to reach for the stars. I say to all of you, reach for the stars. Challenge yourself to excel in life and be happy. I want to thank Scarsdale TEDx for providing me with this opportunity to talk to you. Thank you so much.